Here.
Jerry Haw.
Yes.
Sam Corum.
Present?
Vidar Liram.
Yes. And I just want to put in there that, oh, there she is. We're waiting for you. I want to put in there, Jeff called me this afternoon and all apologetic about everything, but he really needs this evening off after last week and everything they've done with the Forest Festival and everything. And I told him I think we could muddle through without him. So.
Katie, is that true?
Katie really runs a DPW, so let's face it, you know. I hope that's on record too. I want that, you know. You sent the agenda out last week to you all. Thank you very much. Vidar did have an addition to the agenda under unfinished business. Item number 3 will be an update on the consumer energy grant and where it's at. And Jeff has filled me in on that also, so we'll cover that under unfinished business. Is there any other additions to the agenda? Hearing none, the agenda is approved. At this time, we'll take citizen comment. Mary Jo, are you willing to do that, or are you just here observing?
No, I do have a comment.
Please, come to the podium, please, so we can get it on record.
I actually am here to join, for one thing.
I'm sorry, just a second.
Okay.
I didn't silence her. She knew I was here.
Mary Jo, what's your last?
Sorry.
Sorry, Mary Jo.
There's, and I don't know if this is something that can be done, but there, across the street from the Ramsdale, there is a tree by the library park that looks, and I'm not kidding, like this, which means it's probably not going to last long. And how can we, as the tree commission, like advise them differently, or should we advise that the tree be taken down in instances like that? Because it's pretty stupid looking, you know. That's really just the only comment. I know that kind of stuff will happen, but that one is pretty glaring for where it is, so.
Mary Jo, thank you, because that is, I was just noticing it today, it is just absolutely terrible. They must have, you know, it just jumped out at me, so they must have recently been trimming there. You know, the electric company.
Power company.
Power company.
Trimmed out the center of it.
And it's god awful. So what I'd like to do is just ask each of you to go look at that.
Sure.
What's your opinion? Should we, you know, today it's a healthy tree, but my God, it looks terrible. And what I'd like to do then is just suggest to you at our August meeting that we come back and maybe we could issue a resolution, you know, to the power company and whoever was doing their trimming, you know, don't do this again, to include a picture of it. What do you guys think about that?
It sounds good to me. In fact, what we'll do is take a look at it and fill out a form, and if we all decide that it should be removed, we'll fill out the form and have the city remove it this winter.
Right. Okay.
And I personally don't think a response back to consumers is going to make a lot of impact.
I understand, but by the same token, we don't document it. And
Gotta let them know.
then,
Okay,
you know,
we can do that.
you know, then it just goes on, and what they don't know, they don't know.
Well, they don't know a lot, and there's a lot of people complaining about that, but it's a toss-up between, you want your trees falling on your wires and no power, or do you
Right.
want a tree that looks kind of funny?
Sure.
There's a lot of trees in town that look funny with the centers on them.
Sure.
This one is probably one of the worst one I've ever seen. When you see it, it jumps right out at you. So, Mary Jo, thank you for bringing that to our attention. The next thing on the agenda is approval of the minutes from our last meeting on June 17th. Those minutes are in front of you. Are there any changes or corrections to the minutes from the June 17th meeting?
No, just one comment. Did we satisfy you take care of Mr. Rozgaga? Rozgaga? R-O-Z-G-A?
Rosaga?
Rosaga? Does anybody recall? I think we did, but I'm just curious.
I think we've,
Yeah, we did. We resolved that.
that's closed. Yeah,
That was the chestnut tree.
yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay, anything else? Hearing none, the minutes are approved. Okay, we're moving to unfinished business and the recruitment of additional tree commission members. Again, Mary Jo, welcome. We need you to fill out a form. They're going to do an FBI background check on you so you can get the top secret clearance to be able to learn all the secrets that we know. But we really do welcome your engagement, and you've done a wonderful job already, down around the marina and everything. We just really appreciate that. But this just goes a step further, and Manistee wide now. The vegetation on our city. We have 188 acres of parks. We have all kinds of right-of-ways, and we've got a challenge. So we just really value and appreciate you applying and being part of this team. Thank you. And is there any other ideas? I think I want to talk, Garrett, we still have room for one more then, and Barry Peterson is somebody I want to talk to.
He declined.
He did, huh?
Yeah, he did.
You think I could twist his arm? What was his thought process?
I just don't think he wanted to involve himself any more than he's heavily involved in his church.
Yep.
So
Okay.
that's what he told me.
All right.
But it won't hurt.
Oh, I'll,
Bend his ear.
yeah.
I did.
I'm a good enough friend with him that I can do
Yeah.
that. So, but again, if any of you hear of anybody, and again, thank you, Sarah, for getting together with Mary Jo, and this is what it takes, and
Sure.
just got the personal touch to get out there and do this. Any other comments on that area? Okay, hearing none, let's move on. Sam, you said you had a meeting with the Garden Club?
I have called. I have not had a meeting with them yet, and I want to have a meeting with them. So the next meeting, I will go there.
Okay,
And I had a thought. I'm going to try to do like 20 trees, very modest, 20 trees a month.
okay.
You know?
Personally?
Yeah.
Are you challenging all of us to do that?
Yeah,
Okay.
the tree challenge. I mean, it's easy to do.
Yep.
You go out on a walk. The other day I went on a walk. I got 1/5 of them in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
It's
Is there an app?
yes. Oh, sure.
Would you just
I'll share the app with you.
Okay.
share the app with all of us again?
Yeah, sure.
If you wouldn't
You
mind?
should have it on your phone.
I should,
Because
but,
we all had it on our phones.
but,
The field,
I need it again.
Yeah.
And obviously, then we have a password and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You could share that with everybody on the committee, including Mary Jo. That would be great, because I think that's a great challenge for us to do 20 a month, each of us.
This is
And,
an identification, is that what you're trying to do?
No, we're surveying all the city trees.
Okay.
Inventorying them.
Yeah, we're gonna inventory them, and it's gonna be part of the, it's sort of on top or with,
I want it on
oh, okay.
my phone.
Are these are you
with the
assessing
DPW.
The health of the tree, or just identifying?
well, it's the health, it's not, yeah, you identify them, but their location, their size, the state of the tree, is it diseased, does it have, a lot of things. So we have a drop-down menu that you go through. It's very easy to do. You're just making a very quick observation with a photograph and you move on. It's very simple.
So do you have them organized by blocks?
You can take it anywhere in the city, and on the city GIS map, okay, that's their geographic information system map that we sort of work on top of. We have the whole city, and the trees that we've done show up in red. So you can go to any block that you want to start and work.
Yeah, you won't be double doing it.
That's what was
No.
questioning, how it was organized.
Great.
Oh,
Yeah,
I also talked to Josh Sweenson.
yep,
I think we have some things in common. We want to have a city that supports biodiversity, and he is very much into that. So I think that where our paths cross, I think we have an ally in all of this. So maybe he could and we could join him in certain things. He could help us with certain things as well. He's got pretty good knowledge.
I love the idea that you just did challenging each of us to do 20 a month. Why don't you say, Josh, why don't you challenge your members to each do 20 a month, you know, as, to help us get this done?
I could.
I bet you he would jump at that.
But then he'll want something in return.
Well, would it, you know,
It depends on what it is. I said where we intersect, that's where we can work for the good of the community, so.
absolutely, and, so we'll find a way to support whatever, you know, within reason, of course.
He has meetings the third Wednesday of every month.
Right.
So unfortunately, we are tied up, but there are other members that might not be.
Yeah, those of you that do golf on Wednesday afternoon, evening.
Our one golf date.
Yeah,
May I
But-
make just one comment?
Yes.
And please don't take this in any way to be offensive, I don't mean it in that way at all. But when you talk about biodiversity, the amount of trees, the new trees that were planted with them being red maple and red maple autumn glaze, which is really the same tree, it's just a variety of red maple, so that really isn't too, I mean, that, as far as diversity, I would just alert you to that, knowing that that's not the diversity you're looking for.
I understand that totally, and I think we're looking at maybe a wider variety
Yeah.
of trees.
Right.
we're not locked into those,
Right,
Mary
well, I
Jo.
just, I know from the last time that was what was planned.
Yes,
I'm just,
we're changing the direction on that. And we have to talk about the type of trees that we want to put in that space.
Right.
Yeah, so
And-
what's native to this area? You know, we want to look at those kinds of trees. So we're not locked into anything.
right, I've talked with Matt Lamore as well as.
Yeah.
Josh,
Thank you very much. And they have lists of trees, and I think those are pretty, available, and just would be really good idea to.
That's at Black
Black
Cat Farm.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
very knowledgeable, and, I mean, I've got some of what he's got, but I don't have as much information as that.
And he's in Onekama, yes.
Yeah, I talked to him quite regularly, so.
Well, that's a resource.
yeah, that's great, because right now, the challenge that we had prior was what was available, you know, to meet the demand.
Right.
And we can change that, you know, as long as we can find the trees that are available.
Right.
And I tell you what, I would love to be able to buy the trees from Matt locally, you know. That's one of the things that we want to do. So, yeah,
It's evolving. We've got, you know, it's.
nothing's written in stone.
Okay.
Right.
So, one of the important things though is as we do this inventory, we're gonna find even more how dominant some species are, and is that good or bad, because, you know.
On one street, I counted, every one of them were horse chestnuts.
Really?
I did 4 or 5 and they were all big horse chestnuts.
Okay.
That's kind of nice.
There were probably freebies at the time they were planted,
And they're big trees
you
now.
know?
Oh, yeah?
But I might go back and add something to what I've seen and what I've heard and learned and so on, is that the tree species that are being planted right now, they were really the species that most people bought, because I know going back like 8 or 9 years, there was probably about 7 or 8 different species or more species on the list. And when Jeff, for instance, went back and screened it, you just went back to the ones that were most commonly done. And
Right.
that's how you got to the 3 or 4 species that you got now. And yes, we probably ought to go ahead and break that out and bring some more trees of different species in the area.
The challenge we have, though, we've got to remember, is if we have 10 species, for example, that people can, you know, you got to have enough to make it worthwhile to get a deal on the tree.
That's the other side of
Okay,
the coin, right?
so, you know, if we want 2 of these and 35 of those 2 are going to cost us more than maybe the 35.
Or you might say, go see the neighbor down the road.
Yeah,
I can't do it for you.
yeah,
I can do this, but I can't do that.
yeah. So, but good points, okay? Yes.
Yeah, so if we get these grants,
Yes, that's the next.
then
step.
we can decide, we can
Yes.
decide which species.
We can decide, so that's
Absolutely,
the nice
that's
thing.
absolutely true.
Absolutely.
So number 3 on the unfinished business is important here.
Yep. Do you have anything else that you want to add? Okay, moving on to that, the Consumers Energy Grant request is being submitted. I attended the city council meeting last Tuesday night and told the city council that this is what we're doing. They're all doing this. So it's going forward. Jeff's got it. Jeff's submitting it. That is
Pretty exciting.
okay? And so I just want to make sure that everybody understands that that's going forward.
That's awesome.
John, I was gonna come down and support you, but I couldn't get out of my easy chair.
I'm sorry?
I was gonna come down and support you,
Oh,
but I couldn't get out of my easy chair. Sometimes 7 o'clock in the evening is pretty late.
yeah, there you go. I understand.
Did you have your pajamas on?
I don't use pajamas.
Well, then you were in your
Right.
best? Okay.
We don't need to.
Okay.
TMI, too much information, all right.
Sam brought it up, I had that.
Yeah, It's sitting there waiting for Jeopardy to start and go, oh no. All right. Is there any other unfinished business?
Well,
Yes?
about the, no,
Okay.
I was looking at the next one.
Yeah.
I'm jumping.
Let's move on to this, the important new business. This is the big one, the big grant request from DTE that we're looking to get, and the Michigan DNR. Peter, I'm going to turn the floor over to you. You've done a tremendous amount of work on this already. Would you fill us all in?
Yes, so we have 2 more grants or grant applications in the pipeline. One is that, like you said, the big one, the DNR Inflation Reduction Act Urban Forestry Grant. The maximum amount there is $225,000. So I have met with Tyler at the district, the conservation district,
Yeah.
Tyler Dula,
Right.
Yeah.
and he and Josh are kind of working together, and we discussed different avenues here, and my recommendation is that we continue working with them, but take advantage of their expertise so that they are the entity that submits the grant application.
Mm-hmm.
They will take 10% out of that, whatever, and what they will add in administrative cost, up to 10%
Okay.
of the grant, which I think is reasonable, because in a big grant like this, there is planning, there's educational component, communication with the public, reporting, getting the trees planned, and also one important part of this could be that we could, in sort of a complementing what we are doing with the survey, we could have a certified expert come in and look at all the trees and what we have done, and maybe do a more detailed assessment of all the trees in the entire city could potentially be.
We can change what at any time.
Yeah.
We want to make something,
Yeah.
we want to change something, add to,
Yeah.
that can all be changed.
But then the actual tree planting, so the actual sort of action here would be to cut down trees that are identified as old or sick already, and then plant 2 new trees for every 1 tree we take out. And those, that part has to be in the part of the city that's identified as socially
Mm-hmm,
disadvantaged,
mm-hmm.
which is anything north of the channel,
North of the river,
north of the river.
north side, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had that
And
map.
not everything on east of US 31, but a good chunk of that area. And then an area between Maple and Third down.
Right, there's
Yeah.
some south of the river too.
Yes.
Right.
So my suggestion on that would be that we agree on continue working with the conservation district and let them sort of take the lead.
Okay. So you're making this in the form of a motion that we continue working with the Soil and Water Conservation District to complete this grant application?
Yes.
Okay, and is there a second to that motion?
I got a question first.
Questions will be coming after we have a second. We'll have a discussion. Sam, are you seconding?
I second.
Just seconded by Sam? Okay, now we're open for discussion. Jerry?
Is this following what you're called number 2 over here, where the conservation district is taking the lead?
Yes.
Okay, that's.
The conservation district develops and submits an application with input and support
Right.
from the city.
That sounds perfect, perfect, right? The 10%, I have absolutely no problem with that. That sounds great. In fact, it sounds like it's a little low when you stop and think about all the stuff that goes in there.
Yeah.
Now, there's something else in your note here. It says go beyond beauty. Is that something that?
Yeah, so that's something that Tyler brought up when I met with him. And he has some contact with a group that promotes this going beyond beauty. The meaning of that isn't that we are not planting beautiful trees, but the idea is that we avoid planting trees that are not indigenous or
Suitable.
So that's
So we
basically what
avoid
that means?
invasive,
Oh,
beautiful trees that are invasive.
okay,
So that's the meaning of go beyond. The reason he brought it up, he thought that that might be a way, in his words, to jazz up the application. It's another sort of component that we throw in there, a little bone that we throw in there. And these guys seem to have a good network and they understand
That's wonderful.
good,
how
good.
this works. And with such a large grant, I don't think we will be able to do it ourselves within the short time limit, which is
Right.
deadline 31st of August.
Right.
Right.
Are they also considering climate hardiness as well as native species?
Yes, I would think so, yes.
Wow.
I think that kind of follows suit. That's why you got native trees, because they're already hard.
But I'm thinking of when the planet's a bit warmer, 20
But
years.
remember, the zones are moving north.
They sure are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
big
There's
time.
no question.
My
The
primrose
bugs are
never
too.
stop blooming over the winter.
But then the ones that were hardy for north here, they're gonna be super easy to grow now when it gets warmer.
Maybe.
Okay, go ahead.
Peter, I just want to say one thing. Because of the work you did in advance and communicating with those of us, I was able to take this to Bill Gamble, our city manager. He is 150% behind this. He thinks it's a fantastic idea. He understands and appreciates the 10% administrative fee that the Soil and Water Conservation District will take from this. He is all for it. And we will have to take it to the
City council.
to our
City council.
city council, but my feeling is that it'll be very enthusiastically approved. So I guess the one thing that I gotta say is, we just need to make sure that Tyler and Josh and everybody at the Soil and Water Conservation District are on track to getting it in, getting it
Right.
submitted in, in a timely manner, and if they need anything at all from us, you are gonna be the point man, if that's all right. I think it's important we have one point of contact,
Okay.
and And I just want to give you the opportunity, you know, make common sense decisions, and you've got plenty of common sense, and I trust that, you know, the decision you make, we don't have to wait till the next meeting. Okay? Yeah.
Tyler is on vacation this week, but I'll follow up next week.
So, again,
Do we
we
need
have
to
a,
make a vote?
pardon?
Do
Yes.
we need to have? make a
Yes,
vote?
so we have a motion on the floor to collaborate with the Soil and Water Conservation District for this, this large grant. And at this time, we'll take a vote. All in favor of supporting this, this motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes. And again, thank you very much, Peter, for the work that you've done and are continuing to do.
So there's just one more thing I wanted to
Yes,
add
absolutely.
to this, that the next grant we're looking at is the DTE Foundation grant. And I checked today, and it's not been announced yet.
Okay?
So I'm keeping sort of an eye for that. If any of you see any emails or whatever about it, let me know.
Yeah.
Again, I think it's a short deadline,
Yeah.
but that's not such a big grant. So when that comes up, we can discuss where are we going to focus that grant. Now, this one, Consumers Energy, we are looking at Marshalltown,
Right.
Yep.
but then if we do this DTE grant, we can look at other places.
Okay?
One more question or one more thought. Did where we got wrapped in all your conversation discussion here, we got the tree risk assessment qualification as it could be carried money-wise to do that, have that done for the tree risk assessment qualification of each tree in town here?
Yes, that's
If
that's
that
what,
comes about, that's an awesome package.
yeah, I mean, that's would be a big chunk of the grant.
Yeah, that's an awesome package for every tree to be assessed as to
I
whether
know.
it's gonna live or not.
I know.
Oh, we'll see what, you know, what happens when we receive the grant and how they,
Yeah, I
How they
know.
parcel it out.
If that was ever put in there, that'd be a ton of information and data, would be great.
Yeah, it will be
And it's,
a lot of work.
and it's a little work because I know Josh was up there showing us once upon a time, and I don't know if anybody else was here or remembered some of the stuff. But his evaluation of a tree doing that was easily 30 minutes to 45 minutes.
yeah.
He, just as for information, he came and assessed the tree in my backyard. And I think it took an hour.
That's what I'm saying, if they get, you know,
I,
there's
s-
1,000
I remember
trees
the
in town
photograph of that tree.
Right,
Yeah.
Yeah, that was, yeah, I know the one.
Yeah.
and if
They
you
did,
think
you
of
did.
1,000 trees in town here, think of the time,
Yeah.
We get, yeah.
that's awesome if that ever gets done.
Well, again, we'll see
Yeah.
when that comes.
Let's cross that bridge when we get to it.
Yeah.
Bridge.
We're gonna move on now to announcements, and
Yeah,
I'm gonna start just because I wanna put Sarah on the spot. I just assigned her first trim request. How did it go?
Well, I ate bad potato salad on July 4th and was down with food poisoning all weekend, so I will go tomorrow morning. I started my new job today, so I just
Oh,
haven't
good.
had.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Are there any concerns you've got that you'd like to share with, these guys have all had experience, and, you know, you and I have talked, but these guys know better than I do.
No, I guess I'll kind of trial and error it, right? And before I make a final decision, I'm sure I'll ask you for your input, or, you know, if you concur with my assessment, or if I'm missing anything obvious, something like that.
Well, I mentioned earlier that if you get that app installed and get going on that, what you can do at the same time, since you're there at the tree, you can log
Oh,
it.
yeah.
You can log it in the database,
Okay, good idea.
and then
You can write your notes down. Once you survey the things that we have there, if you have any concerns, anything you want to go ahead and add
Mm-hmm.
to that.
Okay.
So at least it gives us a starting point.
The one thing that I talked to Sarah about is we gotta kind of be careful though when somebody's making a trim request. We've all lived through.
Make sure it's not a Hatfield McCoy situation.
Yeah, we've all lived through, that issue.
The best thing to
Done
do,
for safety.
the best thing to do is bring your gun with you. No, no. The best thing to do is call them and set up a time that you could go there and meet with them, and then you could discuss. That's what I do.
Oh, you call first, you don't go to the door
Yeah,
first?
I mean,
I'll call.
Okay.
and, yeah, we talked, but we trim for safety,
Yeah.
or, or if the tree is definitely dying,
If it's disease,
disease,
you know.
and you don't have to be a registered forester.
Well, that's.
If the bark is falling off, if,
Right, it looks like.
most of
If
the
it's got holes in it and woodpecker.
canopy is
Yeah.
gone, we need to take it down. But common sense, I mean, it's just, that's really it. And I told her the story about the trim for view.
That was a lingering story.
It sounded like it.
It was a 10-year story.
So we have, first and foremost, we have our city planning commission has said there is no view shed for anything. And somebody build, Sam lives in a beautiful house overlooking the golf course. But if somebody wants to build, buy the lot across the street and, put
Block
up
out
an
his view.
8-story building,
Yeah,
That's the way it goes.
yeah, yeah.
it isn't a view shed issue, is that appropriate for for the zoning?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
we just have to be careful about that. But again, appreciate you being in the mix here, as we get these requests.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I'm telling people is, we may not get to that trim, we may not get to that removal of that tree until the fall. Because again, our DPW folks,
I
pardon?
tell them all the time, it's for the winter work for the city normally, unless it's an emergency,
Yeah,
Okay,
because that's generally 90% of the time.
okay.
because our DPW guys are busy with 188 acres of parkland and everything else. Okay. Sam, you got anything?
No, it's a good meeting. I enjoyed it. Thank
Gary?
you.
Nope, all done.
Peter? Wonderful. Hearing nothing, we're gonna close the meeting, we'll adjourn, and we'll be back here on the second Monday of August, which is, bear with me, and I'll bet you $1 to a donut.
It's a Sunday.
It's the 12th.
Okay, sounds good.
Monday, the 12th, and that's good, because,
Hey, welcome.
Thank you.
and I want, Mary Jo, I want you to be here for that.
Okay.
That'd be great.
Sarah, here.
Fill out my form.
I'll come on.
Okay.
Alrighty.